Hello, everybody. It's Steve Williams, founder and president of the Credit Repair Shop. We're going to talk about repossessions today because we get a lot of questions about repossessions. A lot of customers are dealing with this, and a lot of people are dealing with repossessions, on their credit reports, or they might be where a repossession is happening to them right now. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go through your rights when it comes to dealing with a repossession, and I've got my notes here, so hopefully I don't forget anything out on here. But let's go into uh, the beginning process of it. You had bought a car, and then now you either couldn't afford the payments due to you lost your job, or you got downsized where you're not making as much money, or you just plain and simple you can't afford to pay for the car because you're not managing your household expenses the right way. So first you're going to start getting calls from the lender. They're going to be asking you, can you, why you're not paying, or when you're going to make the payments. Most people run, they don't answer the phone, or they just say, I don't know, I don't have the money, or whatever. uh, One strategy that you can use that I always tell my customers is that if you are in trouble financially, something that you can do is you can ask your lender to do a deferment of your payments. Some of them will do up to 6 months depending on the hardship that you have. And if you can prove the hardship, you could get a 3 to 6 month deferment of your payments. That's where they'll put the payments on the back of your car loan, and that'll allow you to get some breathing room. And what I always tell clients is don't go shopping with that money. Use that money to get caught up on other bills, so when your car payment comes back around, you're able to afford it, or you're able to catch up on the car payment. Now, when it comes to what a lender is going to do, because remember, a lender has legal contracts with where they got the money from. And this is where a lot of people don't understand. They're like, well, why can't I go and get the car back after it goes through this process? And this is the reason why. I'm going to make it clear to you. All loans, and we're dealing with car loans right now. There's going to be a 3 to 6 month process where it's going to be considered where they're going to charge it off. This is where they consider the debt as 100% bad, as if they're not going to be able to get the loan back into good standing. Once it goes through the charge off process, even if you came with the money to that lender, that specific lender, they are not legally allowed to take that money. And I think that's where a big misconception comes when people talk about charge offs. And when they charge off the debt, that doesn't mean the debt goes away. That means that the debt has moved into a different legal status when it goes into what they're going to be doing with that debt. It does not mean that the debt has gone away. It just means that it's charged off. Usually, they're going to send it to a third-party debt collection company to collect it. Most companies sell it. They package up all their charge-offs and they sell it off to a third party. We're starting to see more of them keeping it and just hiring a third party, and they're using a garnishment strategy to go after the money. We also see that some companies are actually doing this a lot sooner. They are, because of if it's a bad credit loan, they are having the individuals sign contracts saying that they can come and take the car within 1 month, or if you miss 2 consecutive payments. We've seen where some companies have where people are paying weekly, and if you miss 2 consecutive payments, they'll come and be able to take the loan. Also, if you got a auto title loan, they can take the car within 30 days of you missing your payments. So once within 3 to 6 months on a normal loan, 3 to 6 months, they're going to do the charge off process. After that, they're going to start going into the repossession phase of the whole repossession. And remember, a repossession is a civil action, it's not a criminal action. So if you are about to get your car repossessed, in most cases, and we know how the law is where when certain people are having things when they're interacting with the police, uh, that it may not go the way that it should go just because of who you are. But if you, when a repossession comes, the reason why they do it at night or do it when you're not looking is because it's illegal for them to technically repo something if you're arguing with them. They're not supposed to cause any type of conflict because it's a civil action. They would have to just go to court. So what they do is they just follow you around or they try to track you and then they come and take the vehicle. And so that's what's going to happen with that side. Now you do have the option of giving the car back. If you want to give the car back to the dealer, and then they're going to go through the process of this whole process still going to go through, but you're going to give the car back, and then they're going to go into the next phase of which is what happened when they actually get the vehicle back from repo. So let's go into that there. So now if you get a car back or it goes into repo, what's going to happen is that it's going to go to auction and they're going to sell it at auction. So let's just say, for example, at the auction, they sold the car for $5,000, but you owe, after your payments and everything, you still owe $10,000. So now they're gonna send that, a third party collector is gonna come after you for that, plus any attorney fees or any fees that they feel that they can jump on top of that. Something that we've seen is that this 5,000, during that 3 to 6 month period before they did the charge off, they could add on all type of fees. It just depends on what you have. And remember, if you're not paying payments, the principal amount is going to increase. In with car loans, it's on a daily basis the way that they do the interest rate. So if you didn't pay and you owe 5,000, each day it would go up. In the next month, you wouldn't be paying interest on the 5,000. You may be paying interest on $5,900. So this, by the time you get that, and that third party calls you, this could balloon up to this is, say, for example, it could balloon up to $7,000, and then they're going to be putting any fees after they've went to court and got a judgment and everything that they could put their fees on. By the time it makes it back to you, this could be back to $10,000 or more, and because they're going to have interest rates that they're allowed to charge once it becomes a judgment. Now, let's go into what you should do. What we tell all of our clients to do, and what I'm telling you to do, even if you're not a client of ours, on something that you could do. Number one, if you wanted to keep the vehicles, you do, in certain states, you have a right, even if it makes it through the repo phase, that you have a right up to a certain amount of time. And each state is different. You have to look at your local laws, but each state is different. You're able to pay up, even if they come and repo it, you're able to pay up the back payments and any fees, and able to take possession of the vehicle. Also, because vehicles are depreciation on vehicles goes fast. As soon as you buy a new car and you take it off the lot, the value already drops, unless you buy in certain types of vehicles. The value will drop on all vehicles, but it just depends on how much it'll drop. So, and they know this, so more than likely they will be willing, if you have the open communications and you have the money to bring the payments up to date, they're usually willing to come up with some type of resolution, and that's a lot of back and forth with the lender, but it can be done because they know that if they're selling it, they're not going to get nearly what they could get if they allowed you to keep making the payments and get the car back into good status. Now, but let's just go with what happens with most people. They end up giving the car back, or they end up repoing the car. So now they sold it at auction, and we established that they're going to sell it a lot cheaper. That's just automatically. So now, and then the collection agency, they're going to send all of their stuff. Now here are your rights that we always tell people. It's like a step-by-step process that we tell all of our customers to do, and what I'm telling you to do is, okay, so let's say we got the car, and we see all of these dealers. Here's a dealer, car dealer. They're selling cars with these bad, saying bad credit loans. So right there, you already know that they know that most of these vehicles that they sell, most people are not going to finish making the payments. They already know that. They wouldn't call it a bad credit loan. Why would they call it that? Because they know that people that have bad credit, they don't make their payments. So the scenario is already being set up. So what we've seen is we tell our clients, and this is possibly you, we tell our clients to get the contract. The original contract. The reason why is because knowing that Mr. or Mrs. car dealer has these bad credit loans, and they're dealing with banks that deal with bad credit loans, they're going to put stuff in their contracts that might buffer them against individuals not making payments. Because you were happy to get the loan, at the time that you signed the contract, you probably opted in for things that you thought would just make them happy and make the loan process go through so you could hurry up and get out of there and drive your new car. And so what we've seen, and we've seen this in contracts where they have, and it goes by different names, but we've seen it where they've had payment insurance. We've seen that term. So they had payment insurance, and we've also seen loan insurance. And this is where if you miss your payments, either had a medical issue or something came up to where you wasn't able to make your payments, the car dealer had a certain amount of months that the payments would be made, so they wouldn't have to go into that repo process, and then the payments were made on the vehicle. Or even if it went through the repo process, they got a certain amount of money back on the vehicle when they took it back. And some of the lenders, because this is just crazy the way this is going on, some of the lenders make them take the car back on their lot and try to resell it. But let's just say, for instance, on your original contract, you had this on there, and certain amounts of payments were made, so you are able to make sure that the dealer wasn't either paid off for the loan, or a certain amount of payments were made, and then they resold the car, not at auction, they end up reselling it on the lot. And that's why another thing that we tell people to do is to get the auction receipt. Because most people are just running away, they don't answer the phone, they know that they gave the car back, or the car got repoed, and they just feel like they're done with it, they'll deal with it later. But you have a right to get the auction receipt. When you get that auction receipt, you want to make sure, number one, what the car was sold for, and then number two, when you get your original contract, you start matching all of this information to make sure that what they're coming after you for is the right amount, the correct amount. Now, any credit repair company that's working with you dealing with a repossession, this is what they should do. If they're not doing this, then they don't even know what they're doing, because this is like the automatic part of what we do. Now, there are 7 more techniques and strategies that we use 7 more that we use to deal with repossessions, that to either get them get the loans uh, forgiven, and to also get them off of the credit reports legally get them off the credit reports. Not something where you're just sending letters back and forth, hoping that the bureaus make a mistake. No, these are legal ways to get this stuff removed off your credit reports forever, and also in some cases to get the debt forgiven. But I cannot share those because we got people that pay us a lot of money to repair their credit. So if you are interested in working with our company and you're dealing with repossessions, please either fill out the form below or check out more information on our website and get signed up with our company. And if you do decide to sign up, make sure you specifically tell your rep that you are dealing with a repossession, so we can make sure that we attack that repossession after we get a little bit more information about the repossession from you, that we make sure that we attack that repossession the right way. All right, again, this is Stephen Williams with the creditrepairshop.com. Until next time, thank you.